Let me ask you something important. If walking every day truly fixed poor circulation, why are so many active adults over 60 still dealing with cold feet, swelling, burning calves, and slow healing sores? You're doing the right things. You walk, you elevate your legs, you wear compression socks, and yet by evening your ankles feel heavy, your shoes feel tighter, your feet feel colder than they used to. That's not your imagination, and it's not just aging. Here's what most people are never told. Poor circulation after 60 isn't simply about moving more. It's about whether blood can travel down to your feet and back up to your heart efficiently. And that's a very different problem. As we get older, arteries can stiffen, veins can weaken, blood begins to pool in the lower legs. Think of it like a small town water system. If the pump is strong, water flows smoothly. If the pump weakens, water settles at the lowest point. Your lower legs are that lowest point. And here's something serious but important. Poor circulation isn't just discomfort. Left unchecked, it can lead to slow healing wounds, infections, balance decline, increased fall risk. It's also one of the earliest warning signs that your heart and arteries may be under stress. Now, I don't say that to scare you. I say it because once you understand what's really happening, the solution becomes surprisingly simple. Walking is wonderful. Please don't stop walking, but walking relies on momentum. What your legs actually need after 60 is targeted muscle activation. Movements that physically squeeze blood upward against gravity. There's a specific muscle in your body doctors sometimes call the second heart. It sits in your lower legs, and when it contracts properly, it literally pushes blood back toward your heart. When it weakens, blood lingers, swelling increases, oxygen delivery drops. Today, I'm going to show you 5 surgeon-approved movements that restore that pump. Not complicated workouts, not gym machines. Simple, controlled exercises that take less than 15 minutes a day. And the final one, the one most powerful for circulation, is something almost no one holds long enough to get the benefit. Before we begin, I'd love to know your name and where you're watching from. We have people here from Florida to Oregon, Texas to Michigan. And this is a community of adults who refuse to slow down quietly. Drop your name and location in the comments. Now let's start with the movement that wakes everything up. It looks simple, but it's where real circulation recovery begins. Movement number 5, seated ankle pumps, waking up your second heart. Let's begin with something so simple most people overlook it. In fact, you might be tempted to think that can't possibly make a difference, but it does. This movement is often the very first thing surgeons prescribe after leg surgery. Not walking, not machines, but controlled ankle pumping. Here's why. Inside your calves is what doctors call the venous muscle pump. Some even nickname it your second heart. Every time your calf contracts, it squeezes deep veins in your lower leg and physically pushes blood upward toward your heart. That upward push is critical because gravity is constantly trying to pull blood downward. After 60, especially if you sit for long periods, this pump weakens. When it underperforms, blood pools in the ankles and feet. That's when you see swelling by late afternoon, socks leaving deep marks, feet feeling cold or numb, a heavy, tired sensation in the legs. Walking helps, but not the way most people think. Walking uses momentum. Ankle pumps create deliberate, controlled contractions that fully activate the muscle, and that makes all the difference. Here's how to do it properly. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Now lift your toes toward your shins while keeping your heels down. You should feel your calves stretch slightly. Then press your toes into the floor and lift your heels up like you're gently pressing a gas pedal. That's 1 repetition. Move slowly. Move deliberately. Don't rush. Aim for 20 to 30 repetitions 2 to 3 times per day. You can do this while watching television, while reading, even at the kitchen table. The key is consistency. This movement restores the pumping rhythm that keeps blood from stagnating in your lower legs. Many people notice warmer feet, reduced ankle swelling, less heaviness by evening. And here's something encouraging. This exercise is extremely joint friendly. If standing is uncomfortable, if balance feels shaky, if fatigue limits your walking, you can still do this. It's the safest place to start. Now let me ask you something. Do your ankles swell more by the end of the day than in the morning? If that sounds familiar, drop a quick comment below, because this is often the first sign your calf pump needs attention. Ankle pumps wake the system up, but they don't fully strengthen the muscles higher up in your legs. That's where the next movement comes in, and this one begins improving not just circulation, but walking speed and stair confidence. Movement number 4. Seated leg lifts, strengthening the upper leg pump. Now that we've woken up the calves, it's time to move higher, because circulation doesn't just depend on your lower legs. Your thigh muscles play a major role too. And here's something most people don't realize. Doctors consider walking speed one of the most powerful indicators of overall health after 60. In fact, many refer to it as the sixth vital sign. Why? Because when walking speed slows, it often signals reduced strength, poor circulation, increased fall risk, and declining independence. But here's the good news. Walking speed can improve, even in your 70s and 80s, when you train the right muscles. And this movement does exactly that. Seated leg lifts target your quadriceps and hip flexors, the big muscles in the front of your thighs that help you climb stairs, stand up from a chair, step up onto curbs. But here's what matters for circulation. When these muscles contract strongly, they squeeze the large veins in your thighs. That action pushes blood upward, reducing pooling and improving return flow to the heart. Walking alone rarely challenges these muscles enough to stop age-related decline, but controlled seated lifts do. Here's how to perform it properly. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, back pressed firmly against the backrest, chest lifted, both feet flat on the floor. Now slowly lift one leg straight out in front of you. Keep your knee as straight as comfortable. Hold it there for 2 seconds. Then lower slowly. Don't let it drop. That's 1 repetition. Perform 10 to 15 reps per leg, then switch sides. The detail most people miss? Posture. If you lean back or swing your leg, you lose the benefit. Keeping your back pressed into the chair forces your core and thigh muscles to do the work. And that's where circulation improves. As this becomes easier, you can add light resistance. Even a 1-pound ankle weight makes a difference. Muscles respond to progressive challenge at any age. And here's what many seniors notice after several weeks. Easier stair climbing, less fatigue when standing, a smoother walking stride, reduced heaviness in the upper legs. Let me ask you something. Do stairs feel harder than they used to, even though you still walk regularly? If that sounds familiar, this movement may be exactly what your body needs. Drop a comment below if stairs have become more challenging in recent years. Now we've activated the lower legs and strengthened the upper legs, but circulation and balance are deeply connected, and the next movement begins training both at the same time. Movement number 3, supported calf raises where circulation meets balance. Now we're going to stand up, and this is where things begin to change, because once you move from sitting to standing, your circulation system has to work against gravity in a much stronger way. Let me share something that surprises a lot of people. Like, calf strength is one of the strongest predictors of whether someone over 60 maintains independence. Not arm strength, not even thigh strength, calf strength. Why? Because your calves don't just help you walk. They stabilize your ankles, they protect you when you trip, and they act as that powerful second heart we talked about earlier. When your calves contract, they squeeze deep veins and push blood upward. When they're weak, blood pools, swelling increases. Balance reactions slow down, and your confidence begins to shrink. That's why this next movement is so important. It builds strength, improves circulation, and trains balance all at once. Here's how to do it safely. Stand behind a sturdy chair or at a countertop. Place your hands lightly on it for support. Feet hip-width apart. Now slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as comfortable. Pause at the top for 2 to 3 seconds. Look straight ahead, not down. Then lower slowly, taking about 3 seconds to return to the floor. That's 1 repetition. Start with 10 repetitions. Over time, work your way up to 20 or even 25. The pause at the top is critical. That's when your calf pump fully activates. It also forces your balance system to engage. That tiny moment of instability at the top, that's your nervous system waking up, and that's exactly what prevents falls. People who practice controlled heel raises often notice less ankle swelling, warmer feet, stronger push-off when walking, more stability on uneven ground. And here's the encouraging part. This movement places very little stress on your knees or hips. Even if you have mild arthritis, this is usually well tolerated, especially when holding on to support. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed your ankles feel weaker or less stable than they used to? If that resonates, you're not alone. And this is one of the best ways to address it. Drop a comment if ankle strength or swelling has been an issue for you. Now we're getting close to the top 2 movements. And this next one is where circulation and fall prevention truly overlap. Movement number 2, single leg hold, where circulation and fall prevention connect. Now we're stepping into something that looks simple. So simple, in fact, that many people dismiss it. Standing on one leg, that's it. But here's what makes this movement powerful. The ability to stand on one leg is one of the strongest predictors of future mobility and fall risk after 60. In plain terms, if you can't stand on one leg steadily, your risk of falling rises sharply over the next few years. And here's where circulation comes into the story. When you stand on one leg, your calf, ankle, hip, and core muscles must contract continuously to keep you upright. That sustained contraction creates a prolonged muscle pump effect, especially in the calf. Walking only keeps you on one leg for a split second. A single leg hold forces that pump to stay on, and that continuous contraction helps push blood upward instead of letting it pool. So this movement trains two systems at once: your balance system, your circulation system. And when those improve together, something important happens. Confidence returns. Because here's what many people experience: balance declines slightly, so they move less. Movement drops. Circulation slows. Swelling increases. Fatigue rises. And that's how the downward spiral begins. This exercise interrupts that cycle. Here's how to perform it safely. Stand next to a countertop, sturdy chair, or wall. Place one hand lightly on it for support. Shift your weight onto one leg. Lift your opposite foot just an inch or two off the floor. You don't need to lift it high. Stand tall, eyes forward, shoulders relaxed. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds while breathing normally. Then switch sides. Start with 2 rounds per leg. As this gets easier, reduce how much you rely on your hand. Eventually, you may be able to hover your hand without touching. That's progress. People who practice this regularly often notice less wobbling when standing, better stair confidence, faster reactions when they feel off balance, reduced swelling from improved muscle pumping. Let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time you intentionally stood on one leg? If it's been a while, that's completely normal, but it may be one of the simplest ways to protect your independence. Drop a comment below. Can you hold for 20 seconds on each side? Now we've trained the calves while sitting. We've strengthened the thighs. We've built balance. But the final movement is the most powerful calf pump activation of them all. And once you understand why the hold matters, you'll never rush through heel raises again. Movement number 1, the standing calf pump hold, your most powerful circulation tool. After 60, now we've arrived at the most important movement on this list, and I want you to pay close attention to one word: hold. Most people already do heel raises, but they rush them. Up, down, done, and when you rush, you miss the part that actually restores circulation. The hold is where the magic happens. Here's what's happening inside your legs when you rise onto your toes and pause. Your calf muscles tighten. When they tighten, they squeeze the deep veins that run through your lower legs. Those veins act like flexible tubes, and when the muscle squeezes them, it physically pushes blood upward, back toward your heart. That's not theory, that's mechanics. But here's the critical part. Blood doesn't move upward instantly. It needs sustained pressure to overcome gravity. That's why the 3 to 5 second hold changes everything. Walking doesn't hold. Ankle pumps prepare the system. Single leg stance trains endurance. But this, the standing calf pump hold, delivers the strongest upward push of them all. Here's how to perform it correctly. Stand behind a sturdy chair or at a countertop, feet hip width apart. Lightly hold on for balance. Slowly rise onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as comfortable. Now pause. Hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds. Keep breathing normally. Look straight ahead. Stay tall. Then lower slowly over about 3 seconds. That's one repetition. Start with 8 to 10 reps. Work up gradually to 15 or even 20, maintaining control. If you feel unsteady, keep both hands on support. Safety always comes first. What makes this movement so powerful is time under tension, those sustained contractions. Improve venous return, reduce ankle swelling, strengthen ankle stability, improve walking endurance. Train your body to react faster if you stumble. And here's something encouraging. This movement places minimal stress on your joints. Even people with mild arthritis often tolerate it well when done with support and control. Now let's zoom out for a moment. Walking is wonderful. Keep walking. But walking alone leaves gaps. It doesn't fully activate the muscle pumps that move blood upward. It doesn't train sustained balance. It doesn't strengthen the calves the way a controlled hold does. These 5 movements fill those gaps, and they take less than 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes to protect your circulation, your balance, your confidence, your independence. So here's my question for you. Which of these exercises surprised you the most? And which one are you going to start today? Drop a comment below, and we truly read every one. And if this video helped you see circulation differently, go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe if you're serious about staying strong, steady, and independent after 60. And don't miss the next video on your screen. It reveals a simple wall-based movement that may improve leg strength and balance even more effectively than walking. You deserve to feel steady, you deserve to feel confident, and it starts with movement, done the right way.